Hello to you all. The Eric Zane Show podcast has begun. It's a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. All from the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports. You can find them, mention ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, e-bikes, scooters. Oh my gosh, I have them all. Go-karts. Did I say go-karts? I think I did. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's going on at Impact Power Sports. Thank you so much to them for being part of this absurdity. A lot to get to today. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm getting I had various comments on the Twitch stream saying, "Oh, what happened to EZ? What happened?" And then I guess I came back. So I don't know. Maybe it's going to be one of those days today. Perhaps. I hope not. Honestly. I think there was a moment during the Dave Chappelle bit years ago where one of his specials came out right at about the same time that Jussie Smollett was getting into hot water over that fake story. You remember that? And everybody was like, Chappelle described it as, everybody was like, justice for Juicy, justice for Juicy. And everybody was looking at, according to Dave in the bit, everybody was looking at the black community. When you going to speak out? When you going to speak out about justice for Juicy? And then the line that Dave said is, he goes, well, what you don't understand is we were supporting Jussie Smollett with our silence. And then he goes, because we knew that, and he says N-word, that N-word was clearly lying. Now, I don't know anybody right now who's lying, nor do I support anything, but there is something going on in my orbit where I am entirely not comfortable discussing it with any of you right now. And it's nothing I did. In fact, I was tipped off to what is happening. I don't know. I only know what you know. And now some of you are like, well, what the fuck is it? I'm not even comfortable pointing you in any direction for it. I need to let all of you figure this out on your own. Some of you talk to each other. If you want to talk about it in the chat, I don't care. But I'm out. I am not involved in this shit in any way, shape, or form. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And let me just get to the bottom of it. Because Alan says, oh, come on. Look, you need to understand something. If I get involved in this by bringing it up with you, I'm in jeopardy. And I am staying the fuck out of it for a change. Yes, I know what's going on. Yes, I know what people are saying. It's not. I have nothing to do with this. I watched something unfold. Let's just put it this way. Somebody I know very well has stepped on their dick. And take it from me. I'm a perpetual dick stepper. I have done so much dick stepping in my life that when I saw this dick get stepped on, I was like, oh, that's a real big stepping on the dick. But I still have to acknowledge that I am aware of it. And that is the end of my discussion about it, because fuck this. Alan says, Alan wants to know. Stevie says, this is smart of you, EZ. She knows what's up. If you guys want to share this or disseminate it, I don't care where you disseminate it. I don't care what you do. I just know that I'm not involved, and I am not involved, and I'm not talking about it for now. And it's about survive another day. I do not want any part of this. Maybe one day in time, I can discuss this. I know you guys communicate at some point with each other somehow. You have ways of doing that. I'll let you figure that out. But yes, I am aware of it. I was made aware of this by somebody yesterday, and I was like, holy fuck. I couldn't even respond with a text. This requires a phone call. All right. But again, I think it would be foolish of me to act like I don't know what's happening. I do know what's happening. But this is extremely sensitive, and I know the people involved, and I don't want to make this any worse for anybody, including myself. And I would this would be a problem for me. By the way, this coffee mug might be the cutest damn thing ever. You see, it's Pooh Bear and Piglet. I got it for Christmas from Pooh Bear. It says, if you live to be 100, I want to be 100 minus 1 day, so I never have to live without you. And that was when these two lovers, Pooh Bear and Piglet, were speaking. Speaking of Pooh Bear, she is now in the lead on the Special Olympics Polar Bear Plunge fundraiser. Next Thursday is the Polar Bear Plunge, not punch. And I'll be getting video of that. Nick is here, Nick in the arena. He says, my balls are so blue. Well, they're going to be even more blue because the person that is involved in the story that I'm being very vague about, you know this person on a first-name basis. In fact, you see this person a lot. That happened. Man Bun Chris says, that's bleak. Hey, I love you, but I hope I die before you. Enjoy this coffee. Okay. Anyway, where was I? What was I going to talk about? Oh, Pooh Bear. So, Polar Bear Plunge, that is next Thursday. And you all came through, and she's going to offer up a formal thank you. Very, very much so. But she had to get to work today. But as of right now, there has been $721 donated for Pooh Bear. Yesterday, at this time, she had $40. Now, thanks to you, she has $721. Nikki Constantine in Maine, she dumped in $165 to get it to the 700 level, and that is so very sweet. Thank you, Nikki. We don't see you enough around here. My daughter Jackie just contributed. She's so sweet. Adam Balboa gave $10 generously. Jen Reed threw $25 in. Adam James actually donated $10 twice. I think it just showed up twice. Either that or maybe they did dump it in twice. I don't know. But there's a side story that's going on here. And It's because former Zaniac Mike Pellerito is doing things that Pellerito does. And, okay, you can see here, Mike decided that he wanted to donate, and so he donated $1. Now, he did that to, I don't know why he did that. I mean, I can only assume what's going on in Mike's head. But he's been kicking up his heels lately, and I don't have it in front of me, but he posted I know he watches, I know he listens. Last week, when I posted the pic on Facebook of the dancing pallbearers, and it said, Jamingo's in the hospital. Come on, Lucky Sevens. Pellerito then went to the former Zaniacs page and posted the same picture. And right after that, Benny, the one-eyed wonder dog, went to the vet. And he wrote, Benny, the one-eyed wonder dog, is in the hospital. Come on, Lucky Sevens. So, because, now what's different about that, weird about that is, I mean, me posting that about Jamingo, him and I have a history. He doesn't have any history with Benny the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. So why are you hoping Benny the One-Eyed Wonder Dog dies? But whatever. Rebecca says, oh, fuck that. Dogs are off limits. Yeah, whatever. He must not have liked that I posted that. And she says, Pellerito was like herpes. He just keeps coming back. Stevie says, oh, that fucking creep. You have to understand, Mike is still very, very upset because there was a time when, when I had to get rid of these people. And that was a problem because Mike was so emotionally invested in me and this show to a point where it was beyond ridiculous. And I should have seen it coming. I should have known this was going to happen. And I remember when I first laid eyes on Mike at the hockey game. Him and his kid were at the hockey game. It was a couple days after I got fired. And so a bunch of people show up at the hockey game with signs saying, go get him, easy, whatever. But Mike was positioned right next to where I sit with a sign that says, Harambe loves EZ. It was right when that gorilla got shot. And I come walking into my area where I do PA, and he's there with his chin beard and his kid. And he's crying. He's crying. And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. But in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, it's a little fucked up, but all right. Well, that put in motion Pellerito becoming my number one fan. All right. Think about like Kathy Bates in the movie Misery. That level of number. I'm your biggest fan. I'm your number one fan. And boy, was he. So fast forward to when I finally had enough with all of the nonsense from the former Zaniacs and told them all to go fuck themselves. During that breakup, Pellerito wasn't quite off of the bandwagon yet of EZ, and he used to those shows that I post called the Lost Zane Recordings, which are 3.5-hour shows from WBBL forever ago that I post on Patreon. He would listen to them and take studious, detailed notes of these shows. He'd put like a lot of time into it. And then he would send them to me. So then when I would post them on Patreon, hey, this is the June 7th, 2018 episode, there'd be the notes that go along with it. I don't post the notes now. It's not a thing I do. I never did it in the first place, but I was like, oh, if you're going to do it, fine. So he was doing that, and then I stopped. He would send them. He was still doing it, spending the time doing it. And so I stopped posting them. And he was so offended that I wasn't posting the notes that he kept reaching out to me, and he'd reach out to me in any way he could. Email, he'd hire me on Cameo and leave a message. Do you still need the notes? Do you still need the notes? And he would pay money on the Cameo and hoping that I would do a Cameo to give him an answer. When it's obvious I'm not using them and I don't want to talk to you. But he kept like banging on my door. Like, this is a waste of my time. Am I still doing this? Are you still using the notes? Are you still using the notes? And he's really, and now I realize he's getting upset. And he's talking about, you can't waste my time like this. You can't. And so I'm just ignoring him because I know it's driving him nuts. So I don't. And then he finally stops. Man Bun Chris says, when the relationship fell apart, my favorite post was, I guess I had written down, show notes are for pussies, LOL. As Hurricane Ashley is here. Hello, Ashley. Hope you are well. So, all right. But Mike keeps kind of like diving back in. Don't forget, this was the guy who, when all of that was happening, now all I wanted to do was get these people gone. These were all the people that I've talked about many times. Just this bunch that really weren't that fun to have around. Mike writes a multi-paged email. And it starts with, Dear Eric, you have grown a garden of listeners. So that's the famous reference, the Garden of Listeners email. And as soon as I shared that with people, like, oh my God, what a dramatic asshole. This is ridiculous. So we had a great time ripping a new asshole to them over that. Rebecca says, the only time I ever reference show notes is if I'm looking for a link or a sponsor code. Yeah, right on. So the breakup continues. It was a long breakup. So that happens. Probably a year, maybe a year and a half ago, Pellerito sends me an email. And he's like, do you want to fix this? So I hit reply. And I said, go fuck yourself. So, whatever. I should have just not responded, but I don't like Mike at all. In fact, I should have listened to my instincts long ago when he was crying and not given him an inch because he takes a mile. There was more than one time that I would have to call him and say, hey, back off. Stop. Never more of an example than this. Okay? Well, first of all, before I get to this, there was the time, years have passed. This is like a long time ago. We're doing the Great Food Giveaway. And when we first started the Great Food Giveaway, he was still involved. And he used to dress up like Santa Claus and stand on the corner and direct traffic down to come get the food. Well, obviously, that's not going to happen anymore. And time passes. And a couple of the ladies are on the corner. I believe it was Sarah and Maureen and Linda. And we're running out. we're running out of food. So we like call the ladies on the corner and say, yeah, don't send anybody down anymore. We're out of food. Now this is before everybody would line up for a mile and a half or however far it is, so that the food was all taken before we even get started. The Great Food Giveaway has really taken off. So the ladies come walking back, and what we don't know is that Pellerito has been nearby eyeing the corner where they're at. And the second that they leave, he gets out of his vehicle dressed as Santa Claus and goes to the corner where they were standing. He's waving at people saying, go get free food, go get free food. Now, we don't have any food. Now, nobody knows this is happening. So Mike Ball happens to be leaving because we're wrapping up, and he drives away, and he sees this, and he's like, what the fuck? So he calls me, and he goes, dude, Pellerito is at the corner. I'm like, oh, God, this guy. Holy shit. A year passes. Not this most recent year, but the year before that. And we're like addressing this, saying, stay the fuck away. All right? Just stay the fuck away. He goes on YouTube and writes, I guess he plays guitar and sings. He writes a Christmas song and he performs it, and it's like a sad Christmas song. And he's dressed up like the Santa singing a Christmas song about a Santa who's asked not to participate in a food giveaway. I shit you not. Stevie says, what? You might be able to see it on he has a YouTube channel, and he records songs and puts them there. And remember then he had he had a party at his house for all this group of people that were exiled. This is like the first year or the first summer after that all happened. And there's scarecrows of me on his property. They have scarecrows with, he's gotten an image of my face on the goddamn scarecrow. Hold on a second. Everybody's dying to see this Santa Claus video. All right. I just went to YouTube. Mike Pellerito. I don't know if I can find it. There's a lot of people with that name. Yeah, Michael probably send me the link. Okay, wait a minute. I think I found it. Oh my God. All right, here's Mike singing John Mellencamp. Okay, I have found what I'm looking for. I have actually found this. Chris is reaching out to me. Okay, he just sent what I'm about to play.
Ho, ho, ho. And I hope my beard don't get in the way. We'll find out. Merry Christmas. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
I don't think this is it. I think he's just singing the song. Where is the one? Am I fucking this up? Has my brain gone sour? Did this not happen? All right. I swear to God, there was a song that maybe he changed the words of this.
With their eyes all over. And so I'm offering this simple phrase.
Someone needs to tell him.
For kids from 1 to 9. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
No, not everybody can sing. You don't need to do that.
To you.
Does he say anything at the end? Okay.
Santa, dig that one. Oh!
Okay, so I in my brain, I know he did this. Maybe it's not there now. I'm thoroughly confused. It's making me a liar, and I'm not happy. Anyway, this is the he also has the video of when they did the big Zaniac party. Are with Mike Pellerito today. I gave him the opportunity to say whatever he wanted to say. Mike's a gutless child.
I'm a 50-year-old man doing what a 50-year-old man should.
I don't want to get a YouTube ticket. All right. Anyway, so that's Pellerito. Rude of you to torture us with your ear rape. Didn't he show up to your house on Christmas to record you watching the video he put together? I can't remember how that went. Yes, he showed up at the house dressed as Santa Claus. Now, that was still when I was in the mode of, I don't know what I should do here. He's being nice, but it's always just feels a little bit too invasive, you know? And that was part of the whole dynamic of the group when it started to go away. That I think we need some boundaries. And nobody really understood that. They would just take. It was very difficult. A very difficult spot to be in. No more exemplified, and this is a true story too. Well, hell, they're all true stories. At the radio station, I'm on the air on BBL. They decide to take 1 hour off of my show and make my morning show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mike doesn't like that. Well, hell, I didn't like it. But this is what he did that is so fucked up. The next thing I know, a day has passed, and my boss, Dave Jackinette, comes walking in. He goes, dude, what the fuck? I go, what? What are you talking about? One of your audience members came here to address me personally and directly at the radio station about 1 hour being cut off of your show. You know that's out of my hands. I go, what? He goes, yeah, Mike Pellerito. Mike, on his way to work, stops at the radio station, and he takes the elevator up, and he goes walking up to the front desk, and there's a receptionist there. He goes, oh, yeah, hey, this is Mike Pellerito, and I have a meeting with, is Dave Jackinette here? Jackinette is about to start his radio show. He has a 1 hour show on the AM station. It's called like All Things Local or whatever the fuck. The receptionist goes, oh, and she assumes that Pellerito is a guest on this local AM talk show. She goes, oh, yeah, come on in. You're one of the guests. I'll take you to the green room. I'm in my studio with Ben or Julius or whatever the fuck. Everybody, it's a business. Mike gets led into the green room, and then the receptionist goes into Jack Annette and says, "Hey, your first guest is here." And he's like, "Guest? I don't have any guests today. What the fuck are you talking about, you crazy bitch?" She leaves. He goes walking out of the studio. The show's about to start. It's like 3 minutes at the start of a show. Like he needs this. Like anybody needs this. There's Mike, fucking line beard. And Jack Annette goes, "Hello, can I help you? Did I book you?" And he's thinking he fucked something up. "No, actually, I'm just here to talk about Eric Zane's show being reduced by 1 hour. I'd like to discuss that with you and think if you can reconsider it." Jack Annette is like, "What?" He goes, "You have to leave. Right now. Let's go." Escorts him out of the building, calls security and says, "Okay, we had a breach. This is the problem. Blah, 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 blah." And that's that. And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh. That's who we're talking about. And people wonder why I act the way I act when it came to that whole group. Okay, now this is the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg with this guy. And I'm actually quite grateful that he donated the $1 because it allows me to unpack this with you for people who needed a reminder about all of these things. And hell, I'm always looking for something interesting to talk about. And let's be honest, him showing up to work, that's an interesting fucking story. And all of that shit. Tyler says, "Some guy showed up strapped with C4 threatening to detonate himself if I didn't give you that hour back." Cole says he's Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison. I don't know the reference, but Bread Bull Brain Chris says that's about right. Rebecca says, quote, "I'm buddies with Eric Zane. I would never assume that makes me friends with Eric Zaitunian. They are different entities." Yeah, we go to pinball, we hang out. We're buddies. But, the person who's silently listening to my podcast or my Twitch stream or watching it holds the same amount of weight as anybody that I talk to on a regular basis. We're all, I offer kindness and respect to my audience members as much as I possibly can. They might be the butt of jokes from time to time, and it ends right about there. Everybody seems to understand that boundary. That was not so in years gone past. God damn. Shit. And I always know when someone's starting to get a little bit too close. And I've had to weed people out less and less often over time by actually saying, "Hey, just so you know, go fuck yourself." Okay? Everybody understands the boundary. Megan writes, "I think Eric Zaitunian is one of the greatest humans, truly, and the best family." Well, that's like the sweetest thing ever. I appreciate you so much. Alan says, "That's my worst nightmare." Tyler says, "I feel like crossing the line when I text you, like I'm crossing the line when I text you once in a great while. I can't imagine feeling so emboldened to just come to your house unannounced." Alan says, "Crossing the line." That's where the crossing the line came from, which it still stands. I said to Dean, I go, "Get the fuck out of here. Quit crossing the line," which I don't think is a out of left field request. It's true. Quit crossing the line. And then he got so pissed off about it that it led to ultimately was the great Zaniac exodus of whatever year that was. And, me telling a dozen listeners to go fuck themselves is not the end of the world. It really is not. Well, anyway, Mike has reared his head again. Mike coming out of the shadows to say something horrible about the dog, which I think is a hell of a lot worse than me saying something about John. I hate John. John hates me. That's what you say about people you hate. I hope the dancing pallbearers are leading your procession. Picture somebody you don't like. If they had dancing pallbearers, you'd be happy, right? Okay, great. So it makes sense. If I do dancing pallbearers about Jamingo, and then Jamingo did dancing pallbearers about me, all right, tit for tat. But no, it's got to go, Mike wants the dog to die. Who does that? Megan says also he's an animal lover, so that's even more weird. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, remember when Dean wanted Linda's address so he could sneak into her house and scare her on the Zoom? Fucking psycho. Yeah, Dean approached Maureen about this quote-unquote gag to play on Linda. Which, by the way, Benny is under the weather right now. Again, he didn't even want the chicken this morning, so I gave him the appetite enhancer and gave him the anti-nausea medicine. And but he's also moving. There's something wrong with him. There's definitely something wrong with him. And he, I don't want to say that I'm starting to mentally prepare myself, but I would be lying if I didn't. Makes me sad. But hopefully it's just a false alarm like it has been in the past. Has anyone checked to see if Dean is on any state or national registries? I don't know. The last I heard about Dean was from Dean's sister. What the hell is her name again? I think I have her saved in my phone as Boring Dean's sister. Donna. She's very sweet. Donna Brandenburg. She ran for governor in the last election. And then she hired a team of people to get you have to get signatures to be on the ballot. The people that she hired didn't do a good job, and they falsified the documents. So she was taken off of the ballot. I don't know if she's running again. She might be. But Dean was working for Donna. And out of the blue, December 31, 2024, she said, hey, I'm here at the game. It's nice to be back and see you. Happy New Year. And I'm like, oh, boy, this is Dean's sister. I don't know if I should talk to her. I don't know if that would be appropriate because I don't like her brother at all. She sends another text. I had to fire Dean. Come up and say hi sometime. I asked why. She told me. I don't want to say why because I'm not an idiot. But she had to fire her brother. Sorry you have to deal with that. Every family has one. We talked about his sweet son. We love that kid. Nice kid. She loves him to death. That kid. We talked quite a bit about Dean, and So that's fitting. Man Bun Chris says, Kuipers told me at pinball that the Zaniac showed up at his house once, too. Oh, God. Yeah, I actually, when I talk about these people, I try to keep some things close to the vest. But there are stories that have been told many, many times before, and well, they happened. They're true. They're true fucking stories that happened. Okay, so Mike, that $1 you gave has opened up this storybook of you, and that's awesome. I appreciate that, because to be able to talk about the things that I have had to put up with because of you is fantastic, and I'm delighted that I got to do it. All of this on the day where 10 years ago today, oh my God, 10 years ago today, I did my last broadcast on GRD. Today is the day, the big 10-year. This is that whole 12 days of nonsense that took place, which culminates on February 16, 2016, when it was announced that I am no longer part of the world famous radio show. You know what's interesting about that is, as much as I was concerned at the time with what I was going to do, looking back on it, there was no reason to be concerned with anything at the time. Now, if you fast forward to when I got fired at BBL, now that is a time to be concerned, because what I got when I got fired from that job was my last paycheck, and that's it. No prospects. I'm not getting, my career is officially over in morning radio in Grand Rapids, and I got nothing. Now that is a reason to lose your fucking mind. Not after getting shit canned from Free Beer, which I did lose my mind, and I had two moments where I was thinking that I was going to unalive myself, which I didn't, thank God, obviously. Yeah, I don't know why I was so concerned. I mean, it was truly one of the best things that could have happened to me. And you're like, oh, yeah, because you got the podcast. No, because they gave me $110,000 to do nothing. $110,000. Why that number? Because they were kind. Our business didn't have any really overhead. It was just basically we do the show, money comes in, and then we distribute it amongst us. All right. And at the time, the account was north of $300,000 in it. And Eric, Greg, Chris own it. And so I can't be part of the show anymore. So there's separating from GRD is one thing, but separating from the syndication is another entirely different thing. So they said, all right, we're going to give you a third of what's in there. You can see it. Yeah, I see it. We're going to give you that and $10,000. I said, all right, sounds good. Signed off on it. We had lawyers look at it. Done. GRD offered, I've talked about this before, nearly $50,000. But, and I should have taken that. But I didn't want to. I wanted to be able to talk about GRD and what it was like having this happen. They wanted me to take it and never utter their name again. And I said, well, I can't do that. I mean, that's bullshit. So I could have taken that, but I didn't. So instead of nearly $60,000, I've got $110,000. I'm free of the radio station, and 30 days later, I am eligible to start working again. And it turns out it took 60 days to start working again. So I double dipped. All right. And then it turns out BBL paid me so much fucking money. It was ridiculous. They fit me into a format that I didn't even belong on. That's how much juice I had. GRD was paying me $160,000 just for GRD. Any extra money was made by the syndication. I said to BBL, I go, I want $200,000. They said, no. Now, they don't know that I made $160 at GRD. But I said, I want $200,000. They said, no, we're going to give you $180. I go, all right, sounds good. So now I've got $110,000 plus from radio station to radio station. In a year, I'm making $20,000 more. I don't have the syndication anymore. I'm still going to make less in the year because the syndication accounted for another $300,000 a year. Every year. That goes away. So I am making less. My point in telling you all this is, what the fuck was I worried about? I hope I can get by with all that fucking money. That's sickening. All right. That was April 2016. January 2019. Fuck you. You're out. Now it's time to get worried. Now we're looking at a great if I'm going to think about unaliving myself, it should have been that time. But I didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened. And I think I was propped up by the idea that, because initially when I did my first podcast, overnight, I went from 0 people on Patreon to like 400 people on Patreon, which is a ton of money. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do this. And it's taken a lot of figuring that out. But eventually I found my way into the current setup the way I have it, which is probably the way I like it the most. Yeah, the rest is history. So there you go. 10 years today, the last time I was on the air with my mates. I remember I walked into the studio. I said, well, see you later. I didn't know I was getting fired, but I knew. Actually, I take it back. On the 4th of February, 2016, I didn't think there was any problem. It wasn't until I got home and then fuckface Russ called me at 3 p.m. to say, oh, my God, Joel's so mad that you made fun of his pants. I'm like, fucking, what are you talking about? Really? I made fun of his pants? Megan says, if you knew you were going to get fired, what would you have said to them? I would have told them I love them. I did tell them I love them. In fact, I spent the next week off, and then I got the call to come back into the radio station to get fired, and I was pretty much assured I was going to get fired, but I thought maybe they were going to, I was holding out hope. But I did reach out to all of them, and I said, hey, it's been a great ride. In case anything goes south, I love you guys very much. It's been an awesome ride. If this is it, then this is it. And that was good. And I'm sure the question is, well, how is it right now that you're in this kind of like aggressive, combative thing that you're doing right now? What has happened from then to now? And I've talked about this 1 million times, but it's always worth repeating. When I signed on BBL, I tell my side of the story, and it makes them look horrible. They take umbrage. Now we're fighting. Fast forward, fight. One day, I say, let's not fight anymore. Let's get back together. By the way, I have a bunch of your tapes and CDs and a guitar. This is via text. And Greg goes, yeah, the one you stole. I go, well, no, I didn't steal it. It was in my possession when I got fired, and I never gave it back. But if you want to call that stealing, I guess so. I gave him his fucking guitar back, which nobody plays a goddamn guitar. It's probably sitting there in a fucking corner right now. I give him all of his footage, and I go, there you go. Steve comes over, gets it. That's it. Months pass, lots of texts. Hey, let's hang out for coffee. Nah, I'm not ready for that. All right, whatever. No big deal. Then he lets me have it on the air. And I heard it. I heard it when it happened. I was like, oh, I thought we were pals. I thought we were working on figuring this out. I thought we were going to put this behind us. Rubs my nose in shit. I ask him, Well, it wasn't really directed at you, but it was true. And, yeah, it's one of those fucking bullshit moments. I said, all right, fine. At that point, I'm like, now anything from this day forward is because of you. And I'm going to be aggressive about it. What were the 5 words again? One of you sent me the 5 words that he said. Adam said it. He sent me a text and said it was true or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, at that point, fuck you. That's it. I've had it. If this is the game we're going to play, you're not going to win that game. I've got a distinct advantage over you when it comes to addressing these things publicly. So I am going to do this, and I'm going to punch up, and I'm going to punch hard, and I'm not going to stop punching you. All right? Until I feel. So over time, enough punching, they start to respond. Now, tomorrow is the 87th episode of Who Are These Free Beers? After enough beating the shit out of them, they have finally have decided to start to punch back and punch down, which is good. That helps me. So that is why things are like the way they are and the way they will continue to be. If Greg ever reached out and said, hey, this is all my fault, would you entertain a discussion? I'd say, sure. Absolutely. I can play nice. Tyler says that was the last straw, and he's now on the dancing pallbearers list. Yeah. So when I take a run at Kelly, it's because of Greg. In fact, I wrote that to her. When she reached out to me, when I speculated that she got a divorce, and by the way, she was at a live show when I did that. And so people are listening to my show while they're at their show in another town. I think it was Albany. They hear me talk about it. They go up to her and say, hey, did you get a divorce? Eric Zane's talking about it. And I kind of was. Because one of you, I think it was Becca Shea, who said, I think she got a divorce. And I was actually denying it, saying there's no way. She just got married like a week ago. So I talk about it. Like, I think people are speculating. And I didn't believe it. I said, there's no way. No one is that shitty at marriage. Somebody goes up to her, brings it up. She reaches out to me on Messenger and says, will you please stop talking about this? And I actually said, yeah, I will. That's crazy that you're reaching out to me. I will. Just so you know, the only reason why I talk about you guys in any negative light is because of Greg. And I told her that. And then that was it. That ended the conversation. Time passes. Word does come down that they're divorced. She says something sideways about the ex, who's a prominent lawyer in Grand Rapids. So I reach out to him and I say, hey, this is Eric Zane Show podcast. High profile marriage under fire, comes to an end. She said this, and this about you. How do you respond? And boy, did he respond. So then I talk about that. She finds out that I'm talking to him, and then that's a big problem. Oh. I talked to him for extensive time, and the things that he told me, I am not repeating. All right? But there came a time when he finally said, look, for my mental health and out of the respect for her, I can no longer talk to you. And I said, no problem. I get it. I understand. Nick says, oh, my God, balls. Nick in Houston says, my balls are so blue today. Well, I mean, when someone says to you, I'm telling you this in confidence, that means you don't say anything. And I always respect that because I would want somebody to do the same thing for me. So there's just shit I won't talk about because I was asked. And I could put myself into jeopardy. He's a fucking lawyer, for God's sake. He could rub my nose in shit anytime he wanted to. But anyway, so then that started the back and forth between her and I. That's it. That's the reason, it started with Greg. And if we're being honest here, if I can go ahead and get their feet moving, get them talking about me, that always serves me. I've said it many, many times. So when I post something like a free clip of who are these free beers, or I make a crack online, or hold somebody's picture up and compare it to a monkey, that's good. That moves the meter for me. I get traction. People talk about it. It's what I've done since I was a child. Stirred the pot and tried to annoy people. Because if I annoy them, they might say something. If they say something that benefits me, thank you. Thank you, thank you, if you've said something in the past. I will never, ever not admit that. And now that from time to time they do reference me, that's good. Fuck, at the live show, some dude was like, oh, how the fuck can he do? Then the guy calls up and he's like, oh, I can't believe he said that about the goddamn great holiday fake-ins. Oh, Jesus Christ. Eric collects FBHWXs like prized collectible action figures. This is true. I have a relationship with exes you don't know about. The multi-talented Gina Rizzolo was Joe's mistress in New Jersey. She was the OG mistress who reached out to me. I still talk to her to this day. In fact, I got a restraining order against her, and she still talks to me. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah, that was mistress number whatever. And from what I understood, this is the story I was told. She was ghosted by Joe. I'm leaving a lot of this story untold. And a lot came of it because of the ghosting. So when people started to come out of the woodwork after Joe, his undoing, we had all sorts of people, including Gina, reach out and say, hey, it's me again. What's going on? And the mistresses joined forces. I'm not kidding you. Ashley is here. She's one of the mistress brigade. She says Gina was first drafted on our team. She went through absolute hell. So what did I do? I introduced the mistresses and the former GFs to each other. And they formed like the Legion of Doom. So Ashley was talking to Gina, who was talking to Nikki, who was talking to Rachel. I was not involved in those conversations. I quite literally handed the ball off and said, this is not my realm, but I know something happened that you all have in common. I'm sure you can help each other out with your discussions. Ashley says, we are all friends to this day. It was very validating. Ashley was humiliated on the radio. Frankly, I think she had grounds for an amazing lawsuit, but I don't think anything ever came of that. So if I could go ahead and we could have an entire family feud of the members of that show, along with the mistresses and the ex-wives. We could go with Hurricane Ashley, Gina, Rachel, Ross. If Ross wasn't like telling me to not contact him anymore. But no, yeah, it's true. When it went down to Gina reached out to me. Actually, a friend reached out to me because Gina was in the hospital. After she was ghosted, Gina wound up in the hospital, and her friend reached out to me and gave me the lowdown. I was no longer with Free Beer and Hot Wings, but told me that something dastardly had happened. And I was like, what the fuck? Fast forward, Hurricane Ashley, not to mention Rachel, all these jilted women. Ashley says, I was too young to know any better to do much about it. Joe Gaslight was pretty intimidating. He was? Now that's a comment that I can't believe. Because when I worked with Joe, he was a meek little slut. And it was like, shut the fuck up. Okay? You idiot. Because Joe didn't know shit from anything. Okay? Case in point, this is why he never got a radio job. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's horrible. Tyler says, I used to work with one of the mistresses, and I found that out during the Great Mistress Team-Up. Branjo says, I thought that Joe was probably a dirtbag after he got one girlfriend to look for an engagement ring or something. He admitted on the air that the chick he was dating, that would have been Nikki, that he got her an engagement ring, and he cut a hole in the drywall and put it in like where the joists are, where the studs are, and then covered the wall up. And she was so wanting this wedding ring. She loved him so much. The chick destroyed the wall, and he just was laughing at her. And he told that story on the air. Meek little slut. Going to have to use that one in the bedroom. Ashley says he put a restraining order on me. Oh, my God. Yeah, I think that's part of the charm there. All right. I don't know how the fuck I got. Okay, I got onto this topic because I was talking about EZ. You said you love them. How the hell is it that you're so aggressive and pissed off now? That's the Reader's Digest version. There's more nuanced shit. There's stories within stories, and it goes on and on and on. But as it stands right now, all things are go with show number 87 of Who Are These Free Beers? That comes up tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Patreon. Sign up at patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7 days free is yours. We follow that up with the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast with Ben Glaze and myself, who is here right now. Thank you, Ben Glaze. You can watch it and listen to it for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane with your 7-day free trial. After the 7 days, it's $5 a month for audio, $10 a month for audio, video, live streams. Thank you. And I cannot wait to share with you a moment from the Monday broadcast of our heroes. This story was so bad that Kelly insulted them for saying it, which she has been doing recently when these two fucking bores, Steve and Hot Wings, team up for just shitty storytelling. There was a moment when they were in Nashville. Let me just encapsulate the story for you. They do their live show at night. Hot Wings wants to go home. He has to get up very early the next day because he's going home a day early. They have a car that they're allowed to use. The rest of the crew, Steve says, here's the keys. Leave it at the desk along with my backpack. Put my keys in the backpack. Off you go. Hot Wings does that. He leaves the keys in his pocket, leaves the desk at the backpack. He goes to Chicago. He takes the key with him. They call the radio station. They have a spare set of keys. No problem. That's the story. I just told you the story. They told that story, and it took 8 minutes. My God. It's so bad. I include in my opening salvo of clips, I will include how it should have sounded. In fact, let's do that right now. This is how that should have sounded. It should have been 29 seconds.
Wake up and I'm looking through my bag. I'm like, where are the car keys? Why aren't they in here? So I texted Hot Wings real quick. Hey, were those keys separate from the bag? And that was when you sent me a picture of you holding the car keys.
Yeah.
While sitting on the tarmac in Chicago.
Bing! Were the keys in my bag or separate? Oh, no.
Perfect. That's it. 8 minutes, knocking on the door of 9 minutes to tell this story. I shit you not. We will feature that in show number 87 of Who Are These Free Beers? Okay. I have to go tinkle. Would you like me to leave you with another great Pellerito video? Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Come on up, buddy. You coming up? There you are. Hey, mister. Did you come see me? Huh?
He's got his kitty cat. His cat's up to no good.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. The thrill of hope, the weary soul rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, now.
Dude, you can't sing. The ads I just went through were better, says Jay Quill. Why the fuck are we listening to the ass hat? Well, because I had to go pee, you know. We needed something to get us through, and we, when in Rome, I guess. Runner girl Amy says, I don't understand how two brothers can be so vastly different. Yeah, his brother Joe is salt of the earth. That's the thing. Any type of bringing that up with the brother, it's tricky because brother's in a bad spot, you know? Piano Fingerbanger says, I had a deflated football once that made the same sound as it was leaking. The problem is Mike thinks he's a good singer. Brother, you can't. It's just, you got to stop it. You got to delete those videos. Do it. And you know what? He is I'm pretty sure it's unpaid because that's how Mike rolls. He doesn't want to get paid. The unpaid producer of John Domingo's show. And he'll go ahead and make references to my mother, who's been dead forever, on there in an attempt. See, he'll go that far. At least when I cut directly at the people that have offended me. Mike goes and cuts at me by insulting the people who've died like that. He's gone after my mother. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, fuck. And I'm not offended. It's, it is what it is. When you live in a glass house, you can't be shocked when people throw stones at you. But even I mean, like, if Mike's wife croaked, I'm not going to say anything about Mike's wife. If Jamingo's wife dies, if he has a wife, if Jamingo's dog dies, I'm not going to say anything about that. Why would I? It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I think what you have there is also you have people who know that there is nothing that can happen on the planet that can affect me, that upsets me. It's just whatever. They're words. I don't let words bother me. I've gotten very good at that. But thank you for the $1. And thank you for reminding me that you exist so that we could have fun discussing all of the fun little moments that you have given us over time. And thank you for the bench. One time he showed up and out of the blue, he saw a video of somebody on YouTube who made a bench with all sorts of hinges on it and swivels that if you turned it a certain way, it turns from a bench like you'd see at a bus stop into a picnic table. And so he saw that, and it's a ton of 2x4s that make this thing. I mean, it's got all this hardware and he expertly built it. He did like a very good job, and he built it. And then one day he drives over and says, I have a delivery for you. And I go, hey, Mike, what's going on? I have built you this bench that becomes a picnic table if you would help me unload it, and I will give it to you. And I went, okay. It's in the backyard right now. And then he left. He just made me this bench. Because he's, that would be fun for Eric. I will build this for Eric because I love him. The fuck? All right. Thank you to the sponsors that help make this show go. Specifically, how about TC Paintball? I mean, I love TC Paintball. They are the best. And I want to get another paintball outing going. But I think Rick is kind of like, he might be in like a hibernation stage. I haven't heard from my man in forever. But we definitely want to get after it. So for the love of God, if you're within the sound of my voice, please, let's do a paintball event. We'll get the Honduran and the Mexicans together and have a great time. And you can have a great time, too, booking your event at TC Paintball in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. A one-of-a-kind place with an indoor paintball field and an outdoor setup as well. Airball, that's the one with all the inflatable barricades and whatnot. And then the Village, which is like a city setting. And it's like you're playing Call of Duty. Anyway, get started at tcpaintballgr.com. They have a fully stocked pro shop for you. One day they'll have axe throwing. You can get all the information you want at tcpaintballgr.com. Sound the Rick call. Devil fart Mike. Cole says that bench would make a good fire at Fear Bunker North. Would also make a good video that you could post. Well, no. That's insanity. I want the goddamn bench. The bench is a nice bench. It's the weirdo that made it that's the problem. Murder lover Linda makes a crack about Rick and the dogs. That is ridiculous. Tyler says, I am guessing that he is fully erect hearing Easy talk about him today. You know what's the best part about this? Is being that it will fall upon those ears. It will then be passed on to John, and John will play this on his show, which I don't give a shit if he plays it. That's fine with me. But I won't watch that show. If anything comes out of this, it will be because one of you watched it and told me that it was on. I'm too busy to listen to anything, especially that shit. Mike Pellerito equals Sharon Moore filling in for Harbaugh. I fucking love you, man. Oh, God. Who didn't see that coming with Sharon Moore? It went off on everybody's radar when he reacted that way, when he won that game without Harbaugh. We're all like, I think he's fucked up. Sure enough, he's fucked up. Okay, I have yet to kick this crew out that's watching on Facebook, Kick, and YouTube. If you want the rest of this show as it happens, head over to my spot on Twitch for the rest of my free broadcast. Okay? Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Thank you so much.